All right, let's dive into one of the biggest headaches in tech right now, managing an AI project. You see, it's not just a new kind of software project. It's a completely different beast. And today, we're going to learn how to tame it.
So, if you've ever been in the trenches of an AI project, this question has definitely crossed your mind, right? Why does it feel less like predictable engineering and more like a wild science experiment that never ends? The old project management rulebook? Yeah, you can just toss that out the window. So what is really going on here? And that's really the heart of it. We're not just building a more complicated app here. We're navigating a fundamentally different process. It demands a brand new playbook, and that's exactly what we're going to walk through, page by page. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the new rules of AI projects. Then we'll cover how to start with the right questions, why you have to master your data, how to build and test your model, and finally, how to launch it, and, importantly, keep it alive. Okay, Section 1, the new rules. Before we can even think about playing the game, we got to understand how it's played. So let's look at the basic life cycle that every single AI project follows. First things first, forget any idea of a straight, linear project plan. The AI lifecycle is a continuous loop. Seriously, it's not like building a bridge from a fixed blueprint. It's way more like, well, like raising a child. You teach it, you test it, you see where it messes up, and then you go right back to teaching. It is a never-ending cycle of learning and refining. On to Section 2. Start with the right questions. Now listen up, because this is where AI projects are won or lost. I mean it. Forget about the code and the algorithms for a second. The choices you make right now will pretty much decide your project's fate. And here's the perfect, if maybe a little weird analogy for what happens when you get this wrong. You can pour all your energy and resources into creating a technical masterpiece, right? A true marvel of engineering. But if it doesn't solve a problem that someone actually has, you've basically just baked a tuna cake. And let's be honest, nobody wants a tuna cake. This right here is a super crucial distinction that trips up so many teams. The objective is your big goal, win the game. But how do you actually know if you've won? You need a scoreboard. The success criteria, those are the specific hard numbers on that scoreboard. Reduce fraud is just a vague wish, but achieve a fraud detection rate over 85% with less than a 0.5% false positive rate, that is a concrete, measurable target you can actually build an AI to hit. So think of your project's feasibility like a three-legged stool. If you kick out any one of these legs, the whole thing just comes crashing down. First, the business leg. Is this actually worth doing? Is there a real return on this investment? Second, the data leg. Do we even have the raw materials, the ingredients to build this thing? And third, the execution leg. Do we have the skills, the team, and the tools to pull it off? You need a solid yes to all three before you move forward. All right, Section 3, master your data. So you've got the green light. Now we get to the part of the project that will, and I promise you this, take up the vast majority of your time and effort, the data. This is not the glamorous part, but it is absolutely the most important. I mean, this slide just says it all. You wouldn't try to make a gourmet pizza with expired cheese and moldy pepperoni, would you? The same exact principle applies to AI. Your fancy, cutting-edge algorithm is totally useless if you feed it messy, biased, or incomplete data. Getting your data right isn't just some step you do at the beginning, it is the entire foundation of your project. Now, one of the biggest challenges with AI is that the world doesn't just stand still, right? This leads to two kinds of what we call drift. Over on the left, you have data drift. This is when the ingredients themselves change. You trained your model on red balls, but all of a sudden, it's only seeing blue ones. On the right, you've got concept drift. This one's a little trickier. The data might look the same, but what it means has changed. The rules of the game are different. It's no longer about fetching balls, now it's about fetching frisbees. If your model can't adapt to these changes, its predictions will become useless, fast. Section 4, build, test, and evaluate. Okay, our data is clean, it's ready to go. Now for the really exciting part. We finally get to build the AI's brain. We're going to train our model, put it through its paces, and see if it has what it takes to graduate. So, how do you grade an AI? Well, it's a lot like giving a student a final exam. We call it model evaluation. And what's really crucial here is that we test the model on data it has never seen before. No cheating. This gives us an honest look at how it'll perform in the real world, using scores like accuracy to give it a final grade. Getting the right answer is one thing, but can you actually trust it? In high-stakes situations like medicine or finance, a black box answer of just because isn't going to cut it. We need the AI to show its work. And that's the whole idea behind explainable AI, or XAI. It gives us a window into the model's thinking, which is absolutely essential for building trust and for figuring out what went wrong when it makes a mistake.
This is a massive trap you have to avoid. Your AI needs to pass two totally different tests. The first is model performance. Basically, does the engine run perfectly? But the second, and arguably more important test, is KPI performance. Does the car actually win the race? You can build a model with 99% accuracy that has absolutely zero impact on your business goals. You have to measure both to know if you've really succeeded.
And that brings us to our final section, launch and keep it alive. The model is built, it's tested, it's ready, time for liftoff. But here's the big twist. In AI, launch day isn't the end of the project. No, it's the beginning of its real life. See, putting an AI into production is like doing an engine transplant on a moving car. You're not just dropping in a piece of code, you're inserting a learning, evolving component into your live systems. And that requires new dashboards to monitor it, new playbooks for when it messes up, and new training for the people who have to work alongside it. An AI model is basically a living thing, and its work is never done. As you can see in this cycle, after you deploy it, you're constantly monitoring for performance dips and that data drift we talked about. This leads to maintenance and eventually retraining the model with new data to keep it sharp and accurate in a world that is always changing. It is a perpetual loop. Now, trying to manage this whole life cycle by hand for more than one model, well, that's a recipe for disaster. And that's where MLOps comes in. Think of it as an automated factory for your AI models. It standardizes and streamlines the entire pipeline, from building and testing all the way to deploying and monitoring, letting you manage all of your AI initiatives at scale. And so we end with what is maybe the most important question of all. Once your AI is out there in the world, making decisions that affect real people, the way you measure success has to change. The question is no longer, does it work? The question becomes, do we still trust it? And that's a question of fairness, of responsibility, and it's one you're going to have to answer every single day for the entire life of your project.